Hello, math analysis. Welcome to lesson P.2b, where we're going to be talking about midpoints, and we're also going to be talking about circles. So let's start off with midpoints. You know that a midpoint is just the number in the middle. It's the point in the middle. So if you've got endpoints A and B, you're just finding the point right smack dab in the middle of them. Now there's a few ways you can do this, but of course the easiest and most efficient is if you add your two numbers on either side together and divide it by 2. I always think of it as just finding the average. I'm going to add them, divide by how many there are. You know how it goes. So for the midpoint, I'm just going to add them, divide by 2, and boom, I got my midpoint. This is all fine and good for a number line, but if we put this onto a Cartesian coordinate plane, then I have two sets of coordinates, so I have to do it twice. So I have to find the average of my x coordinates and the average of my y coordinates to get my new x coordinate and my new y coordinate. So in this case, I would have to add b, a, and c, divide by 2, then add b and d and divide by 2, because I have to find the middle of each set of coordinates. The big mistake people make is, of course, mixing them up, so just be careful. Make sure you're adding your x's and dividing by 2, adding your y's and dividing by 2. So, armed with this lovely formula, I would like you to try out this problem. Hit pause to try it out, and then hit play when you're ready to check your work. So we'd like to find the midpoint of a line segment with endpoints at -5, 2 and at 3, 7. So I'm going to add my x coordinates and divide by 2, add my y coordinates and divide by 2. So -5 plus 3 gives me a -2. If I divide that by 2, I get a -1. If I add my y coordinates, 2 plus 7, that gives me 9. If I divide that by 2, I get 4.5. And there's my midpoint. And I could graph it. I could graph my line. I could graph my midpoint, and I would see it's right smack dab in the middle. Super easy stuff. So let's move on to circles then, because everybody loves circles. Standard form equation of a circle. It is super easy to write equations for circles. Equations for circles look a little bit funny because your x and y coordinate is actually any given point on the circle. In order to write the equation, though, I need to know the coordinates for the center of the circle, and I also need to know my radius. Now, if you're remembering our last lesson, remember distance formula, how you could drop it down and bring it across and use Pythagorean's theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared? Only now you've got x, y, hk, and instead of d for distance or c squared, I've got an r squared. My radius is going to be that distance. So this means the standard form of an equation looks like this. You need your center, you need your radius. So I'm going to do x minus the x coordinate of my center squared, there's my a squared, plus y minus the y coordinate of my center, which we call k, and there's my b squared right there. And of course, my c squared is my radius squared, so my r squared is going to go right here. This is super easy to do. You just plug in the coordinates off of your center and you plug in your radius. You may square it, clean it up a little bit. Super easy to do. So go ahead. I've got one extra little problem here for you. I would like you to find the standard form equation of the circle with a center of 2, -3 and a radius of 4. Go ahead, hit pause to try this out, and then hit play when you're ready to check your work. So the formula was h minus k squared plus x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals the radius squared. So I know my h is 2, my k is -3, and my radius is 4. So I'm just going to plug in x minus 2 squared plus y. Now this is y minus a -3. So remember, double negative becomes a positive. I now have y plus 3 squared, and of course it equals 4 squared, which is 16. So as always, I hope you found this video useful. And of course, if you have questions, please feel free to email me or come see me Tuesdays and Thursdays after school. I'll be around. Have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye.